Hello and welcome to this month's episode of MyCyberWhy. This month we have Ellen Ju joining us. Ellen she does so much right now, and I'm going to let her tell you most of it. But one of the things that I think is really exciting is she just competed and won in the Cyber Patriot Games. So congratulations on winning that, Ellen.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me too. I'm super excited to be having a conversation.
It's great to have you here. Before we get started on what you do in cyber, maybe we could hear a little bit about who you are and who Ellen is as a person.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hi, I'm Ellen. I actually just turned 16, so I was careful not to say I'm 15. But I live in San Diego, California, and so I'm currently on my summer break. And some things I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about technology, and also social entrepreneurship. So I love seeing what I can do to apply my skills and help others in my community. So some things I've been involved in. I first got into cyber when I joined Cyber Patriot, and so I've been competing in that for around 4 years. And this year we actually got the national championships, which is really exciting. And I also am really involved in nonprofit work. I actually recently held a cyber program, which Deanna actually talked at. So that was super exciting. And a lot of kids really enjoyed learning more about cybersecurity, practicing with like CTFs and really getting their hands into the cybersecurity practice and digital forensics.
So when you're competing, for example, in a CTF, a capture the flag, like as a cyber patriot, what is that like? What's your work like when you're doing that?
Yeah, so it's a really amazing experience. I'll talk about Cyber Patriot first because I'm more involved in that side of the cybersecurity part of the competition. But so for Cyber Patriot, how it works is you learn a lot about different skills and like securing OSs or like your virtual machines. For example, like Windows or like Linux operating systems. And there's also a networking portion as well where you learn about like all these, how to set up networks, how like Wi-Fi works and all of these really cool concepts. And so how the competition actually works is you're given a virtual machine. And what I really like about cybersecurity in general is that it's really hands-on. So you're not just learning about these skills, you actually have to apply them. So you're basically given this like kind of virtual like computer, and you basically have to go in and secure it to the best of your ability in the given time and find all these vulnerabilities. And it's very something you have to explore. You have to just try a lot of different things and really understand how things work in order to do well. So yeah, that's what I really like about cybersecurity as well. So I'm really thankful to be involved with it.
Do you think, I mean, I know it's pretty early in your career planning, right? You just turned 16, but do you think that cybersecurity is something that you might want to pursue as a career, or is it something you enjoy learning, or you're not sure yet?
Yeah, so I'm actually not too sure yet. It's always changing because as I'm exploring more things, but I definitely do really enjoy technology as a whole. I think the impact it creates and just the way it democratizes so many different things is really cool. And I think cybersecurity is definitely a part of any growing technology. As things are exponentially growing, there's also exponentially more threats that people have to be aware of and how to protect against all this information that's being continually transitioned to the online world.
Yeah, and you do a lot of work too with nonprofits and education. What got you started in that?
Yeah, so it actually started when I was pretty young because when I was in fifth grade, I actually went to Inner Mongolia and stayed there for a few weeks. And that was a really cool experience because there was a girl who was a few years older than me. She was in high school, and I just saw how much she loved education. And she would walk like miles every day to get to school, and just the way that she had such a passion for learning was really inspiring. And also, she wanted to become a teacher. So I think being able to see how others really want to give back and seeing how others really like education can make such a big impact in someone's life and such a grassroots problem as well, with so many different passions and so many different opportunities down the line coming from this education and being able to access higher education as well, really inspired me. And I think all these things I've been able to get access to, like cybersecurity or technology, I wouldn't have even discovered if I would have liked it if I didn't have these types of opportunities or doors that are open. So yeah, I really hope to be able to give back and see other people develop their passions for certain things as well.
So you're paying it forward too, which is
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
I really hope so.
Yeah, you really are. You're so inspiring. It's amazing to me that you just turned 16, considering everything you've done. And thinking back to
Thank
high
you.
school and how
Mhm.
hard it can be and how competitive it can be, there's a lot of pressure, especially now, on students to do more. How do you find the time? What's your cyber why? What gets you up when you know, oh my gosh, I have to go back and try once again, as you were talking about, you figuring out where the holes in this Wi-Fi network, where,
Mhm.
where was this Linux box not locked down enough? What's your why? What really keeps you going?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for the kind words. I just wanted to say that people like you serve as really good role models, and I see that you're also doing a lot of work with education and paying it forward. So I really appreciate that. As for my cyber why, I think one main thing is just learning about new things. I think is really fascinating. So I think with cyber, there's never really an end goal. Nothing's ever going to be perfectly secure. So I think being able to find those different ways to keep on improving, continually growing, is really what keeps me up at night. Thinking about all these different things, and also being able to apply them. Speaking of Wi-Fi, there's one time my home router was actually getting like DDoSed, and so I had to actually apply my knowledge to my own Wi-Fi. It was a pretty funny experience, but one that I definitely am glad that I had that knowledge equipped, or else, yeah, my Wi-Fi was going down for a few days. So yeah, I think just knowing that this is a real problem and that all these things that you're learning are useful in some way or another, and helping others and helping yourself as well.
Did you, when you notice that, did you have to end up calling your cable company to tell them, hey, our, the cable modem's getting DDoSed, or?
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting situation. I I really had to go in and change a bunch of settings, make sure it's secure. And I think that also was really eye-opening for me, for seeing like even routers, even things in your own life face all of these different risks. And so yeah, there was really an experience where I had to really apply my skills.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times people will say, oh, younger people born after 2000, they're digital natives and they know how all this technology works. But really, as you've been finding out in the work you've been doing, there's a big difference between pushing an icon on an iPad and actually understanding how Wi-Fi, works and what routers do. So that's great
Yeah,
that
for
you've got that.
sure.
So what would you like people to know or to get involved in about cyber and what you've seen?
Yeah, so I guess if there's any young people who might be listening to this or are reading about this, I think I would just encourage you to just try it out. I think a lot of times, like the best thing to do is like just explore. And even if you find out if you don't like it, or if you find out that you, I guess it might unlock a future interest. I think just getting out there, maybe trying Cyber Patriot, trying to learn cybersecurity. And who knows, like maybe you'll face something in the future and you'll find that your skills are helpful, or maybe you'll find that you really like it and that you want to go into the future. Um, but in general, I think ways to really contribute, I guess, to cybersecurity, or just in general towards furthering society, is through like nonprofit work. So I'd also encourage you to check out if there's any nonprofits you're interested in. I'm trying to volunteer, or just in general, being present for your community and being present for the people who might that might be lacking opportunities, and trying to really pay it forward.
That's lovely. I'm so excited to hear that there are people like you. I'm so excited that you are involved in cyber and all you do. And thank you so much for leading the way for the next generation. You just and all the work you do, and just being such a great inspiration.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really, really look up to people like you who are in cyber and in technology and are doing really amazing things. So yeah, lots of role models who I'm really thankful to be looking up to as well.
There's room for all of us in cyber, and everybody's got a cyber why. So thank you so much for sharing yours. And thank you everybody for tuning in to this month's episode of My Cyber Why. We'll see you next time.